The Masters 8 includes many of the anime's greatest battlers, but besides Alola, it totally ignores every character in the series that isn't a champion. Having the tournament include nothing but champions is certainly cool, but I can't help but think of 8 other trainers who deserve to be in its ranks. I'll be using today's class to identify which trainers should have been in the Masters tournament and how their inclusion would have furthered their rivalry with Ash. I'll only be selecting one trainer per region, so a few fan favorites won't make the cut. Let's get into it. With her creepy origin, psychic abilities, and potential for evil, Sabrina is a force to be reckoned with. She hasn't appeared in 20 years, but if she's anywhere near as strong as when we last saw her, she'd be the competitor to watch at the Masters tournament. With Sabrina nipping at Lance's ankles, it's honestly surprising that he's managed to keep his title as champion. Sabrina coming back for the Masters tournament would have allowed her to show how Ash and Haunter have affected her life. On Ash's end, beating her would have given him closure to the fact that he never beat her gym. As the Orange Crew's Supreme Gym Leader, Drake is near unbeatable. His only known loss is to Ash, so it would have been cool to see him join the tournament so as to get his revenge. With Dragonite on his team, it's likely that Drake would have reached the Masters 8 using none of his other Pokemon. Over 20 years later, Dragonite is still one of the anime's best fighters. It's immensely powerful, insanely fast, and somehow able to use 10 unique moves. I would have loved for Dragonite to battle Ash's Dragonite, as it would have made for the ultimate passing of the torch. Harrison is famous for beating Ash at the Johto League, so it would have been epic to see them have a rematch in the Masters 8. If the battle were to feature a clash between Mega Charizard X and Mega Blaziken, I think it would have resulted in one of the series' greatest sequels. For Charizard to win and get his revenge would be downright amazing. Brandon is Kanto's top frontier brain, a legendary collector, and one of Ash's toughest opponents. He's known for epic beatdowns and flying around in a pyramid, so it'd be easy to justify his joining of a world tournament. If he were to fight Ash in the Masters 8, I think he'd make for a great opening battle. Watching Ash beat 6 Reggies one after another would be the ultimate proof of his power. Tobias is the anime's most mysterious trainer. He won the Sinnoh League using Darkrai and Latios, but how he captured them is entirely unknown. I've always wanted him to return because I'd love to learn about his history and see what other Pokemon he owned. Seeing Ash fight him in the Masters 8 would have been incredible, because each and every victory during the battle would have raised the stock of Ash's Pokemon. As Sceptile can attest, beating a legendary does wonders for one's legacy. Champion of the Unova League and leader of Team Eevee, Virgil is ever ready for an emergency. I'm probably in the minority, but I've always thought that he made for a killer rival. While most trainers are driven by a desire to be the very best, I like that Virgil's motivation is altruism. In order to help those around him, he built a team around Eevee and honed his strength through rescue work. Virgil beat Cameron and won the league, but he never battled Ash. If he would have appeared in the Masters 8, the two of them could have settled their rivalry once and for all. As a trainer, Sawyer is an absolute prodigy. Because of his genius attention to detail and constant note-taking, he rarely repeats his mistakes. It only took him a single saga to rival Ash in power, so I often wonder how powerful he'd be if we saw him in a future league. Between training with Steven Stone and competing in regional tournaments, he must have become a total powerhouse. Besides his tactical genius, Sawyer would have had a major advantage in the Masters 8, as he could have used his Mega Sceptile. Mega Sceptile is arguably the anime's strongest grass type. Like Greninja, it's a venerable warrior whose rival pushed it to new heights of power. With Mega Sceptile by Sawyer's side, Sawyer would have the ultimate chance to redeem his loss at the Kalos League and finally surpass Ash. Before Ash came along, Kukui was Alola's finest warrior. As the Masked Royal, he and Incineroar inspired Ash and Torracat to reach their full potential. I imagine that he and Incineroar would have entered the Masters tournament so as to challenge Ash to a title match. Although Kukui already lost a title match in Journeys, it would have been far cooler to see him do so using 5 new Pokemon. Their inclusion would have expanded his lore and bolstered his position as Ash's mentor. Additionally, the battle would have given Ash an excuse to recall his Incineroar and finally let it battle. To sum things up, I think Sabrina, Drake, Harrison, Brandon, Tobias, Virgil, Sawyer, and Kukui would have all made for awesome additions to the Masters 8. At the very least, the writer should have included Brandon and Tobias, as they're both far more impressive than Lance and Diantha. It's a bummer that none of these trainers will fight Ash during the tournament, but we can rest easy knowing that the fights that we'll see will still be epic. Hopefully. With all that being said, I'd love to hear if you think these characters were robbed of their placement in the Masters tournament. I'd also love to hear what other characters you think are worthy beyond the ones I already mentioned. On that note, class is adjourned. My name's Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.